Hey, what's up? How you doing? It's another live lunch at 89.7 TMD. I'm Carrie Evans. Happy to be here with you this afternoon. Thanks for coming out on such a gorgeous Friday. And if you're tuning in, roll down the windows because we got Joe P.
Hello. How's everyone doing? Good? Pick out your face. Which one today? What will they say? I say what I mean to the back of my teeth while I sleep through the week. But I'm upstairs in your room and you're downstairs dancing. I'll just wait here for you. I'll just keep camping in your bed, build a tent, hold some pillows and pretend we're upstairs in your room while they're downstairs dancing. On the black and white scenes on a color TV in a film you won't see. Now you get what you got, and you don't get upset. So I try to forget that I'm upstairs in your room and you're downstairs dancing. I'll just wait here for you. I'll just keep camping in your bed, build a tent, hold some pillows and pretend we're upstairs in your room while they're downstairs dancing. Running out of supplies, trying my best to survive, and all my friends are slowly dying, one by one. But it sounds like so much fun. I'm upstairs in your room, you're downstairs dancing, but I'll just wait here for you. I'll just keep camping in your bed, oh, and soon I'll just forget I'm all alone in your room. Thank you.
Joe P. live on 89.7 TMD's Live Lunch. Joe, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is so cool. It's like the first warm day of the year. This is great. I love
Yeah.
it.
It's a good Friday, man.
I know.
Really
it's
good.
Friday. You're right. I haven't known what day of the week it is in many years. It's very scary when people are like, "It's the weekend. What do you want to do?" I'm like, "It's the same for me. It doesn't really matter, you know." Like right now, I think it's like 7 a.m. for me, as far as like my voice goes and what time it is and the things I'm eating. They just brought me a croissant back there, and I was like, "This is perfect. This is breakfast time." So thank you. It was great.
So I thought maybe we could start with a little history of Joe P.
Ooh, wow.
I was talking to a mentor of mine yesterday, and she gave me some really good advice. She said, "Don't retreat, just reinvent."
I love that.
And I feel like that is a part of what you've been through as well. You had a band,
Yeah.
Deal Casino. You guys have been together since you were kids.
Yeah, like 8th grade. Like it was one of those things where you're just like, I don't even know how people start bands after you're in 8th grade because it's such a perfect time to do that because, you know, it's like you meet in someone's garage and it's like 9% about music and then everything else is like, when are we ordering pizza and like not playing music, you know? It's just this really fun thing, but in doing it, you kind of like, you know, with music in general, I felt like I was doing strange things where like in high school, I'd be skipping parties on a Friday night because I was like, oh, I'm going to work on guitar. And which is just a weird thing to do, you know what I mean? So it makes you do strange things where you're like, when you start so little, it's just a toy to you. It's just this fun activity like everything else. But then as you take it more seriously, it's like you find yourself like learning how to be a good worker at it. You know what I mean? Like how to practice and be disciplined. Weird stuff like that, that if you saw my grades in school, you'd be like, this guy's terrible at being disciplined and working on things. And then I would leave school and go home and work on this for 8 hours. You know what I mean? So, which my parents were like so confused by because they're like, what do we do? So they took away my guitar. They're like, we're taking away your guitar until you get good grades. And I still didn't get good grades. And I was like, I promise that's not it. Like, I'm just not, I can't do it. I just don't have it. They were like, okay, here's the guitar. You're good. So yeah, and then, you know, that happened. And then when the pandemic hit, that was like, you know, the band, it was weird. It was because, you know.
And you guys were signed, right?
Yeah, kind of. It was like a publishing deal type thing. But like, no, we were just, I mean, it was just the thing. We were going to do it. We were always going to be a band, you know? So it's weird when something you start when you're in 8th grade ends because it's like you never envisioned that. You know what I mean? Like a realistic scenario of like, we have to end this, you know? It's like a job or something. So it was strange. And it was, but at the same time, it felt like nothing changed for me in the sense of the next day I was like, that night I freaked out. I was like, this is it. My life's over. And the next day I woke up and it felt like, oh no, this is good. I found myself still doing all the same things, which in the band I was kind of I started the band when we were little. And it was just kind of like, okay, I was always supposed to do this. So I'm just going to keep doing it. I don't know anything else. You know, I literally have no other skills. So there's no good job interview situation for me. I would show up like this and they'd be like, you're out of here. But, you know, so I was like, all right, I'm just going to keep doing this. You know, I envisioned a different thing and, you know what I mean? So when that ends, it's kind of strange, but right, you kind of have no choice. You just have to keep moving forward. So
Yeah. It worked out.
Yeah, everyone's here.
And you're still good friends with all of your bandmates,
Yeah,
right?
for the most part. The one I was the closest with, I'm not as good of friends with anymore because I think it was like so founded on the band that when that went away, it was kind of like, oh man, we never actually just like were friends. Like we were, but it was like it was always based on this. You know what I mean? Like it started there. So that was the hardest thing where it's like I have to find a way back to that without the music part. You know, so. It's interesting. Weird stuff. You just do weird stuff when you're in a band. It's like you just break. It's like being in 100 relationships your whole life, just over and over again. There's so many strange sit-down meetings, but you're like 18 and you're all very serious, like sitting in like a frat house essentially, and you're like, you know, you're kicking someone out of the band, and it's just like you find yourself in these scenarios that you have to grow up quicker, I think, because you care so much about this weird thing that it's like it is like a 9-to-5 job. It is like a corporate type business because if you care about something that much, it has to run that way somewhat. You know what I mean? So I would find myself in those scenarios like, this is so funny that like everyone else is just like having fun in like college or something, going crazy. and I'm here like having a serious talk. Like we need to talk about like our work ethic, like just weird stuff, you know. So yeah, and now I don't have to do that. Now I just like turn around. I'm in my basement recording, and I'm like, "What do you guys think of?" Oh, I guess it's good. Okay, next song. You know, you're like, so it's a bittersweet thing where it's like you want that camaraderie and that feedback, but at the same time, it is kind of nice not having. I only have to be in one relationship now with my actual girlfriend, so it's better that way.
Well, we're really glad that you stuck with it.
Thank you.
And you've put out 3 EPs.
Mm-hmm.
The current one, Emily Can't Sing.
Yeah.
And we're just excited for your future, and we're glad that you're here, man.
Yeah,
So
thanks for having me. I'm excited.
play away.
Okay. I'm burning like a candy cigarette, barely hanging from your lips. Croissant. I'll be sweet for now, I just don't know how long I'll taste like this. You said we were gonna rule the world. Yeah, you were gonna eat King Kong, but you just kept beating your chest, so I just smiled and played along. But we can get it back while they're all asleep. Pave your way to hell, playing God with me. Sit and break our hearts till it doesn't hurt. Start all over again, like kids in the summer. We used to have a million ways to hide. Now all we ever do is run. Sell all we know, trade skin and bones till nothing's left of anyone. And we can get it back while they're all asleep. Pave your way to hell, playing God with me. Sit and break our hearts till it doesn't hurt. Start all over again, like kids in the summer. But we can get it back while they're all asleep. Pave your way to hell, playing God with me. Sit and break our hearts till it doesn't hurt. Start all over again. Thank you.
She feels exactly like the weather in December in New Jersey. She paints her nails a different color so her mother doesn't worry. Dancing all alone on her tippy toes New Year's Eve. She feels exactly like the weather in December in New Jersey. And she said, this year I think I'm gonna be a ghost on Halloween. Cut holes so I can see. Bring all my candy home to you, so you get a cavity in your tooth. Then my heart won't beat so easy to chew. You and your Adidas is in love with him in New York. I crossed out the Gucci on your t-shirt and no.
Got the lyrics.
Lips blue, turn 22 in the hotel room. Oh, you and your Adidas is in love with them in New York. And she said, this year I think I'm gonna be a ghost on Halloween. Cut off so I can see. Bring all my candy home to you, so you get a cavity in your tooth. Then my heart won't be so easy to chew. I never loved nobody else like I loved you. And I'll never love nobody else like I loved you. And she said, this year I think I'm gonna be a ghost on Halloween. Cut holes so I can breathe. Bring all my candy home to you, so you get a cavity in your tooth. Then my heart won't be so easy to chew.
Thank you.
Joe P on 89.7 TMD's Live Lunch. If you need some help with lyrics, I see particularly these two that I'm looking at right here. They
yeah,
know
please,
all
shout
the
out.
lyrics, every single one.
That would be amazing. There's so many times where I just wish someone in the audience could just like control my brain for a second. Because everyone, and and the worst part is that's why I'm closing my eyes the whole time, because if I look at anyone and I see them like, I'm like, if I mess up, they know. It's like, it's not good. It's terrifying. So I'm like, let's pretend no one knows any of the words. Okay, good.
We were talking a little bit about this before the show, like, you know, when you're playing in a bar and people are talking and you're kind of like off to the side, no one's really paying attention.
Yeah.
And now you're playing these gigs where people are really paying attention.
I know. There's a lot of things like that have been happening where I'm like, this is the goal. This is what you want. And then once it's there, I'm like, get away. I'm like, you know what I mean? It's just, there's something about it. I don't know what it is. It's like, yeah, when you have the feeling, which I always have the feeling of like, I want to earn it. I want to, win everyone over. But when there is an aspect of like, hey, someone drove, 3 hours or whatever to see a show on a tour or something. And they're like, hey, I drove 3 hours. It was great or whatever. And I'm like, I'm so happy you told me after the show. Because if you told me before, it would have been a nightmare. You know what I mean? Just thinking about that. So it's weird. It's what you want. But at the same time, yeah, it's terrifying. It's weird. So. Yeah.
People know more about your music than you do.
Oh, definitely. 100%. As soon as I'm done writing a song, it's done. Like I'm it's out of me. It's over. You know what I mean? So it's kind of funny that like you go out and you have to play them over and over again because it's like I did that. That was like me writing it was like that's how I listened to it. You know what I mean? Like in the moment when I came up with it, I got to be the listener in that sense of like, oh wow, what does this mean? What am I doing here? And then once I'm done with it and it's out there, it's people are like, what is it about? What is, you know? And I'm like, I don't even know anymore. You know, that was like that night, that one night at 3 a.m. in my basement. You know what I mean? Like the water heater was on. Like it was just a weird. So it's a strange thing, but so it's almost cool when multiple people have different meanings for it more than I do. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it becomes something bigger than you ever meant it to be.
Yeah, ever. Yeah, never meant for that at all. Yeah.
Well, thanks again so much for being here with us. Joe P. live on 89.7 TMD.
Hey, little girl, is your daddy home? Did he go and leave you all alone? Oh no, I got a bad desire. Oh, I'm on fire. Tell me now, baby, is he good to you? And can he do the things to you that I do? Oh no, I could take you higher. Oh, I'm on fire. Sometimes it's like somebody took a knife, baby, edgy and dull, and cut a 6-inch valley through the middle of my skull. At night I wake up with the sheets soaking wet and a freight train running through the middle of my head. Only you can cool my desire. Oh, I'm on fire. Oh, I'm on fire. Hey, baby girl, is your daddy home? Did he go and leave you all alone? Oh no, I got a bad desire. Oh, 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 I'm on fire. Oh, I'm on fire. Oh, I'm on fire. Thank you.
Bruce.
That's the funny thing. Like being from New Jersey, I wasn't the Bruce guy ever. Like I never got it. I grew up in North Jersey, so I was like, there's nothing that Bruce Springsteen when you're a little kid and you're getting into like guitar gods and all that stuff. Bruce Springsteen doesn't do it for you when you're like a little kid. Like you see like Led Zeppelin or AC/DC stuff like that is like fun and they're like superheroes. But Bruce is a little more like you need to love him you need to be, I feel like, a little older to get it, I think, you know? So I didn't get it when I was little. And then I moved to Belmar, New Jersey, which is like Asbury Park, the whole area. And everyone's just talking about Bruce, saying that. Everything's named Bruce's Bagels, like everywhere. I can't do this. This is a lot. And so one night, you know, I was like, you know, panicking about what I chose to do with my life, probably. And it's like 3 a.m. and I like started like looking into this guy. I was like, all right, I'll look into, like, as if he's a new artist. So I look into him and I'm like, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. And where I lived in Belmar, all the streets were letters. It was like A and B, and I was on B Street. And I was like, wait a minute, I wonder if this is connected. So I went in this weird 3 a.m. detective like hunt, and I was like, all right, E Street, okay, and I looked it up. That's where they rehearsed. So I went to the house. I drove at like 3 a.m. Drove to the little garage that they rehearsed at on E Street, and I had this weird moment of like, it was such like a Bruce thing. Like it literally, like it sounded like a Bruce song, and I was like sitting there like, man, it's possible. Look, there's the garage. Like it was just such a silly thing. So I started loving Bruce in this weird way. I didn't even know his music. It was just like his path, and relating to anyone from New Jersey that isn't getting made fun of was great, you know, having someone like that. So I started just kind of going down that rabbit hole of the Bruce thing, and then I went to a show, and it clicked. Everyone's like, you got to go see Bruce. He's amazing. I'm like, 4.5 hours? I don't want to watch anything for 4.5 hours. And it was like, and I don't even like concerts. Concerts are like my least favorite thing to go to. So I'm like, someone dragged me, and it's like 4.5 hours. I'm like, it was the best thing. It was, and I was like, I didn't want it to be, but it was so good. There's no light show. There's nothing. And it was, and my favorite band is Radiohead, and I went and saw them like the next week at Madison Square Garden, and it was just like so pretentious, and like so they like had their backs to the crowd the whole time, which is like I thought I would like that, but I was like, oh man, Bruce like ruined being cool for me forever now. So yeah, but so I have a strange Bruce relationship, I guess. Yeah.
Well, you know, that's really interesting because I thought he must have moved to Asbury Park because he was a fan of Springsteen's, right? And wanted his career to start off kind of in the same vein.
Yeah.
No.
It was just cheaper than Manhattan. I was either in New Jersey, you would look at New York, or you're like, where else in New Jersey can I go? And where I was from, it was all just the middle of the woods, like North Sussex County, New Jersey. And I was like, oh, this place Asbury Park, which was like on the rise, because it has this weird history where it was good and bad, and you know, so it was on its way up, and there's a music scene, and there's all these venues within like a mile of each other, and I was like, that's perfect. How much is the apartment? Let's do it. And I looked at like, you know, New York prices. I was like, I don't want to do that. And plus, you can't drive a car. And I was like, I'm not made for New York City, really. I like to go there, and then I'm like, I'm out of here. I can't do this. But yeah, so Asbury Park became the thing, and everyone just enlightened me on Bruce and all that stuff. Yeah.
So you do a cover of Led Zeppelin's Going to California on the Emily Can't Sing EP.
On the piano, yeah.
Were you a fan?
Oh, yeah. I have like the Led Zeppelin symbols tattooed on my arm and everything.
Do you?
Yeah,
all right.
I do.
Are they your favorite band?
No. They're not.
Wait,
They're
Radiohead. I forgot.
Radiohead is my favorite band, yeah. But no, Led Zeppelin, I got that tattoo because it was like Led Zeppelin was the first thing I heard that ripped me out of like top 40 radio. When you're a little kid and you're listening to stuff like whatever's fed to you through the radio or whatever is like what you listen to, and that was the first thing. Like
we
my dad,
hope.
Yeah,
No.
right. And my dad was just playing. Oh yeah, true. But my dad like put on like a recording, obviously, of like Zeppelin, and it was like Black Dog or something, and I just remember being like, "This is crazy." It was like a superhero thing. Like, I think you're so lucky when you're like a little kid and you get like your mind blown by something, because it's like it has the same weight to it that like seeing Superman when you're a kid has. So, and that's why like musicians, rock people, all that stuff are like lunatics most of the time, because you grow up, but like I'm still doing the same thing I've liked doing when I was a little tiny kid, and I have this same level of maturity for it as far as like why it's fun to me, you know what I mean? Like the pizza in the garage thing, still my favorite part. So it's like, I don't know, it's just weird that everything else around you, like you still mature as a human being, you know what I mean? But it's still like this singing is the exact same thing as it was when I was in my room doing it like for fun as a toy, you know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy, but Zeppelin was the thing that kind of like pulled me into that and out of like dancing to whatever was playing on the radio or something. But yeah.
Does not liking concerts, you think, change the way that you perform?
No, it's stupid. I should. It's ridiculous. I should probably go see concerts. You know what I mean? I could probably learn a lot. No, I don't know. I just, I don't know. I just, there's something about it where I like the feeling of being on the stage in this weird way, almost where I think it's like an anti-social thing where it's like in a crowd of people. Like when I was at like the Garden seeing Radiohead, like front row, did the whole thing. I was like, I don't like this. Once we were there, I was just like, I don't like this. I can't move. I'm like part of this thing, which is cool. It's good to be like part of a whole thing, and humanity is great. But I was like, man, I would rather be up there where I can like safely do my thing. I don't know what it is. I never.
Well, it sounds like it takes a lot to impress you at a live show.
No. I'm easily impressed by all things. Like, I'm very gullible. I'm very impressed by things. It's great. Everything's fun. But no, it's not that. It's more just like I so badly am like, I want to do it. I want to go do it. You know what I mean? It's like I don't understand how people like watching sports and don't play sports. Like, there's people. Like, I mean, people who love watching sports, like people who are going to be screaming at their TV when the Super Bowl is happening. I'm like, I see those people, and I'm like, well, go do it. Go start playing football. Do something. I don't understand it, you know? So when people are like, I've seen 100 million concerts this year, I'm like, all right, you wanted me to like teach you how to play guitar so you can go do it too? They're like, no, I have no musical bone in my body. I just like watching people. I'm like, that's so cool. You know, I mean, like, but anytime I'm at a concert, I'm looking at it from that perspective of like, not seeing myself on the stage, but like, you know, I'm taking notes. So it's not the same type of experience, I don't think, you know, as when you're just watching it being like, this is like magic, and, you know, it's cool.
No, that was a good analogy.
Yeah.
It all makes sense.
Yeah.
Joe P is here with us for Live Lunch. It's 89.7 TMD.
How many songs do you want to play from here? One more?
Two.
Two more?
Two more? Two more.
Okay. Okay. We'll see how this one goes. This song is about visiting someone on a weekend. Maybe like a college for me, it was. And then you have to leave and go home on Sunday. Like, Friday and Saturday are so much fun, and that feeling on Sunday when you wake up and you drag out like breakfast, and you know, you pretend you're not leaving, but you leave, and they stay there having fun, and I had to go back to high school. But so this is bad. Hope I don't choke. 19, losing weight and showing bones, hiding underneath your winter coat. You changed your major, but it's minor at best. We both used to hate the taste of wine, but now you sit and drink it all the time. Make up another night that you're not impressed. You can't breathe, so I'll just hold your breath. Spend all year solving two-piece puzzles again. The house sold and all your family moved away, so you stopped coming back for holidays. I know that nobody's home, but I still drive by. And she said, it's only 3 hours from here to Poughkeepsie, and you can come visit whenever you miss me. But I'll be the one leaving Sunday while you wave goodbye. You can't breathe, so I'll just hold your breath. Spend all year solving
puzzles again. What have I done here? All that I've lost here. Tell me it's just a dream. I'm still asleep, Emily. Thank you.
Joe P. on WTMD's Live Lunch. Joe, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about If We Run. So cool. Okay, so Joe is also a visual artist and a writer. There's a short film out that actually includes like 3 or 4 of your songs in it. And it's a little mini movie. And as I was watching it, I'm like looking at the lead guy and I'm like, who is this guy? I totally know this guy. It's James Gandolfini's son, right?
Yeah. It was he over the pandemic. You know, I'm in this weird basement world of like my band's over, my life's over, the world is literally ending. And I wake up one day to this message on Instagram, and I'm halfway through watching The Sopranos, which I've never seen The Sopranos. It was a weird time to get a message from anyone with the name Gandolfini. So I wake up like I wake up and I see my phone. It's got the blue check mark. I'm like, what? And it says Gandolfini. I'm like, well, I'm dreaming. This is weird. And it turned out, to be Michael Gandolfini. And he was like, man, I just want to let you know I've been listening to your music and all this stuff. And, you know, I live in New Jersey if you ever want to meet up and hang out, whatever. So we became friends. We were FaceTiming and all this stuff. And I always was like, hey, would you be in a music video? He's like, oh, I would love to. It'd be so much fun. And music videos are tough because you only get about 3 or 4 minutes. And you can only, there's no dialogue because the song is playing for the most part, you know, so you can't really do too much or explore much. So nothing ever came up where it was worth, like, you know, saying, hey, let me get your acting skills in on this. You know, it's like, it'll just be me lip syncing the song. You're good. So I was like, what if we, for this next EP, did a movie and took all the money that you usually put into making boring music videos and just put it all into one long movie. And then throughout the movie, I'll be like, we'll work in me playing and performing the songs on the EP. So you get your music videos, record label, and you can chop it into those if you want. But like, there's a narrative throughout the whole thing. And so I hit him up. I was like, you want to do it? He's like, yeah. And my original plan was to get him in and out, like just get him in, like he dies in the movie, whatever. So, and do that quickly so you can go home. You're done. So he got there and he was like, we should do like 3 more days though of this. And I was like, all right. So, and he was like holding the lights, like he just wanted to be there. So I was like, all right, man, like you're done, you're dead, you can go home, it's over. He's like, nah, man, let me keep going, you know. So it was just so much fun though. It was like a huge learning experience of like how these things are done, you know. Even it was a small team, but it was still the first time I ever, like, you know, was around that kind of world where like it's like long 16-hour days and like you go until the sun comes up and just weird stuff. But it's so much fun because it's just, you just problem solve all day and try to get it done.
It's really cool.
It's so much
and
fun.
It looks completely professional. It does not look like your first foray into that.
Yeah, that's all the other people holding the cameras. I was just like, great.
Well, you are sort of the star.
Only because it's my idea, I guess. But like, not really. I just like we got real actors and stuff, and then I like pop in at one point and die. So I was like, get me in, get me out. It would be great.
I highly recommend it, though. If you haven't seen it, watch this short film, If You Run. Maybe if you are adverse to blood and guts, you know. But
I guess I hate horror
it's a
movies.
horror film.
So it's funny. I despise horror movies, and this was like my weird way, I guess, of like overcoming the whole thing. I'm still terrified. I thought it worked. I watched a horror movie. I was like, no, this is still terrifying. But I can't. I see all the stuff. Like I see all the special things we did.
Right.
So when something happens, I'm like, oh, that's like a melon with a bald cap over it that we stuck a thing. You know, it's like people watch and they're like, that was crazy. I was like, it really was. It was really funny, actually. So, but it is, yeah, I guess I can't tell you, but I think, I guess it is kind of freaky, a little bloody and whatever. So.
And I don't think I'm giving away the ending by saying you're the killer.
Yeah, I thought everyone was going to know that.
I mean, yeah, because your hair.
Knew. Yeah, I thought.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, by the way, like, who was the killer? I was like, what? But I guess I figured it out. I was like, well, I guess there are scenes where, like, the way we did it, it was me, and then I'm somewhere else in the same time frame. So you could, I mean, it's just a different day we filmed it, but like, you know, I was like, oh yeah, that's me. I thought everyone was gonna know. They were like, no, you know. And then Michael actually at one point, it's him for like a really split second at the end. He really wanted to like get hurt, and was like, at the end, at like the action stunt moments where everyone's like fighting in this kitchen, he's like, let me do it, man. Like, I've done a few movies, and like I think it'd be fun. Like, you could just like throw me around. So there's these girls that are like fending off the killer and like chucking him into cabinets and stuff, and you just see for a second, you can tell it's not me. Like, he's just way shorter, and like his hair doesn't look exactly the same. So it's kind of funny if you catch that, and then it's back to me, and I'm just like sitting there. But
I mean, I started reading into it, and I was like, this is like a singer-songwriter's alter ego, you know,
wow.
You better not talk schmack about my music,
wow, yeah,
or
yeah.
else.
Or I'll kill you. I guess that's pretty good. I guess for like movie or like music critics, I should go with that. That's pretty good. People, whatever. I'm not gonna. That's insane. But
You
like
you
that.
wrote the screenplay though.
Yeah, me and Anthony, who directed it, who I've done everything with, any video ever in my life. So we just sat there, and we both never done that before. So it was just fun. It was like writing a story. You just come up with stuff, and it was weird doing that, and then you see people act it out. It's weird. It's like, I know why directors are crazy now, because it's like you must have some sense of like you control so many moving things that are happening that it's just weird. Like it was like at 3 a.m. I'm like eating a Pringle, writing a line, and then all of a sudden, a month later, I'm watching someone that I've never met, like covered in blood, like saying the line, and I'm like, this is weird. This is a strange thing. I feel bad, but. They're like, and the actors were great. Like
It
the way they
was
can
really
do that,
good. Yeah,
crazy.
I was riveted.
But yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
Before you get out of here, a couple things. You are spending this lovely Friday in Baltimore,
Yeah.
and you're going to be at Soundgarden later.
Yeah.
So anyone who wasn't
6,
able to make it out today, or had to work, perhaps.
Yeah.
You can
What are
catch
you guys
Joe.
doing here? I was thinking about that. I'm like sitting there eating a croissant, playing guitar, looking out the window, watching people walk up, and I'm like, I'm like a degenerate. But I look at you guys walking up. I'm like, that person doesn't look old enough to retire. That person should be in school. I'm like, I think it's awesome. That's great. Thanks for coming.
And then also, when is the full length coming? Do you
I don't know. I'm asking myself that for writing the songs. But no, I have a bunch of songs like done, and now I'm in that recording process. But it's always like met with an email that's like, by the way, tomorrow you have to like go to Baltimore, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll work on this the next day. And then there's like normal life things where I come home from this and I have to go straight to like a wedding or something like that this weekend. So it's weird because it's a strange, when you work a normal job, I think you can get away a little more with saying things like, oh, I had to work all week, or I had to work late, or whatever. But no one thinks I'm working, wearing a leather jacket and jeans. You know what I mean? It's very hard to go to a wedding and be tired, and everyone's like, what happened? I'm like, well, like, yeah, I was working. And they're like, I saw a picture of you like eating a croissant and holding your guitar yesterday at like noon. And I was like, yeah, okay. So You can't like use this as an excuse ever. So I have to be extra ready for tomorrow. But so once those things clear out, I can start like actually just hiding in my basement and recording. I can't wait. It's the greatest thing in the world.
Well, looking forward to it.
Thank you.
And can't wait to see you again
Yeah.
this year,
Yeah.
maybe with a full band.
Yeah, I'll be back with full band for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Joe P. on 89.7 TMD's Live Lunch. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Thanks so much to Joe for being here.
While you go get another drink, I think of ways to tell you I'm fine. One more vodka soda, then you'll never even know that I'm lying. I used to wonder why you never said goodbye. But now you're off my mind. Got myself another lover, God, I love her, I'll never stop. Take her out and drive around and show her all of our favorite spots. I used to sit and cry. I felt like I could die. But now you're off my mind. And we'll be better by the summer. You'll come out from underneath your coat. I'll be making toast in the tub with all my ducks in a row, wearing all of my clothes. I still put my hand around the headrest in my Honda Accord. When no one's there to hold on to the wheel while I let go anymore. You're every car that passes by, every blonde hair in the corner of my eye. But now you're off my mind. I can't believe what they're saying. You don't live in Jersey anymore. You went to fight off your genetics, and you heard the West Coast had the cure. Now you watch the kids grow up while you're just getting old. You used to be so sure, and now you never know. But it's okay, yeah, it's alright, 'cause I'm too far from you to fall in love tonight. Oh, no, no, no. And we'll be better by the summer. You'll come out from underneath your coat. I'll be making toast in the tub with all my ducks in a row, wearing all of my clothes. Jump off and nobody knows. But now you're off my mind. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Joe P. live on 89.7 TMD's Live Lunch. Thanks for coming out again. Back to you, Tyler.